Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Luke Dhume, and this is the first episode of the Luke Dhume Show. I hope you enjoy. I guess the first question that needs addressed is why I'm doing this, why I am starting this show, and the reason for that is because I'm running for office. I'm running for the United States House of Representatives in the year 2030. Probably Ohio's District 2. We'll have to see. I live in District 15, but with redistricting, it's a little strange. But we'll have to see what happens, and time will tell which district that I run in. But I am running for the United States House of Representatives in the year 2030. I guess the first question that after why I'm starting the show, the first question about the show and about me is what are my political beliefs? What do I believe? And the first and foremost thing is that I believe in this. I believe in Jesus Christ, that he is the Son of the living God, that he died for the remission of our sins and he rose from the dead, and that he's the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. So anything that I believe about politics will automatically be filtered through this lens. The second thing that I believe is that we need to put America first, especially people that are elected in office, okay? If the American people are voting for people to represent them, then they need to truly represent them, and they don't need to be representing anybody else besides the people that voted for them, besides their constituents, especially in the states, in the regions, in the districts that they're from. But, more broadly, the will of the whole American public and the good of them. So, the reason that I'm running for office is first and foremost a lack of quality politicians. Okay, so there are some, I will say, a few good ones, in the House, in the Senate, maybe, and throughout, governors throughout the country and stuff like that. Career politicians, I'd say there's a few good ones, but anybody can see that there is a lack. Even if there's a few good ones, there's a lack of a lot of good ones, which is what we need. I feel like so what I was gonna say is if there are a few good ones, but there's a lack, there's a lot of bad ones, and I feel like the bad ones fall into three distinct categories. The first category being they are incompetent. Okay, they don't really know how to get stuff done. They're like their handlers may know a little bit more, but they don't know themselves, and they don't really have the political will to do it. And so even if they wanted the will of the people, they couldn't get it done. They don't know how to do it. The second problem is that they're corrupt. Okay, so and by corruption I mean they're getting their pockets lined. They are in the hands of the donor elitist class, and that's a major problem. It's a conflict of interest. You'll see that as kind of a reoccurring thing in the show probably. And the third problem is that they're apathetic. They'll get in the office and be like, man, I made it. I'm getting paid. That can depend on how much they're getting paid and how much corruption they have, but they're just like, man, you know what I mean. And a lot of times it's a combination of two or three of those reasons: the incompetence, the corruption, and the apathy of the politicians that we have. It shows for a severe lack of quality that we have right now in the United States. The next reason is that I empathize and I feel for the people that I'm running for. I feel for the American people. Right now I'm a college student. I am in college. I work at a feed store. I bag feed and move stuff around with a forklift. I'm an HVAC technician, and I work on a farm. So I talk to a lot of people. I talk to a lot of different kinds of people but there's really a lot of the same problems that people have. It's nobody really cares about them. There's not a lot of money that they have. There's prices are always going up and nobody really cares. And that's a major problem. And I really feel for that because, I don't really have a lot of money either. I really don't have like that much money at all, but that's kind of besides the point. But the point being is that, I feel for the American people and I feel for the people I'm running for. The thing about it is that's exactly how I kind of exactly how I want it. Like I want to be with the people, I want to be around the people, I want to be talking to them because if I'm to represent the people that are voting for me, if I get elected, then I'm going to be better connected to them if, I'm around them and if I'm talking to them, constantly. And like that's I wouldn't have it any other way. Like I want to be around the people. Like if people are entrusting me with their vote, then I want to represent them well and I want to do what will best help them. The next reason that I'm running for office is the possibility. Okay, so the thing about it is with social media, with the proliferation of social media, with Instagram, Facebook, YouTube that I'm using right now, with X, this is the first time really in American history that somebody can be known nation or even worldwide just off of, something that they hold in their hand. And I'm saying that it's the first time in political history, especially in America, that this is possible for somebody to be elected primarily through social media. And I think that's pretty groundbreaking, especially if somebody actually wins primarily through social media because they won't have had used, the major endorsements. They won't have had used, you know, major donations. And, if somebody doesn't use major donations or major endorsements, they're not bought and paid for by anybody. And that's kind of what we want. And that's really what we need as the American people. The goal about this whole thing is really that, like, the first goal is to bypass, big money, as they'd say, which includes foreign influence, interest groups, and the donor elitist class. Like if you have conglomerates of people who want a certain thing and they pay for, politicians to be elected by paying for their ad campaigns or paying for mail for them to go to, or even, buying personnel and, giving them just more opportunities to be elected. Then it's those groups of people, those interest groups, or even the foreign influence, or just like the donor elitist class. Like I said, those three major categories. The politicians that get elected are going to be working for the people who paid them, for the people who got them elected. And that's a major, major problem. That is the source of corruption in the United States government, and that is the source of a lot of people's problems. And the goal about this whole thing is to bypass that. It is to be elected by the people and to be in front of the people for a long period of time. And if that takes a 3 or 4 year long campaign on social media, then so be it. I mean, like, I think that if me or somebody else gets elected primarily through social media and just being around the people as much as they can and like getting their name out there through this, then it truly would change the scope of American politics forever. Like it would completely turn the game on its head. And that's exactly what we need to do right now, considering all the corruption that we currently have and the corruption that we've always had in this nation. You just gotta get around the money and just, actually look out for the wills of the people. That's the goal. That's the main driver of this whole thing is to fight and to take back power. I think that perhaps more impactful than anything that I may do in Congress would be the fact that I was elected through this method. Like I can endorse bills, I can write bills, I can have my staff, do things, and like I can get a lot done in Congress, definitely. And I'm learning more and more as time goes on, and like I'm reading more and more, in order to do that. But the fact that if it is as long as somebody else doesn't do it before me, if I do get elected primarily through social media, then as I said earlier, that would be groundbreaking. That would um, enable other people after me to do it too. And after a while, you get a group of people in Congress, in the House, in the Senate, and even in the presidency who was not given billions and billions of dollars, who was not, given major endorsements by former politicians, but was just in front of the people for a long time, was around the people for a long time, had social media and like traveled around and talked to people for a long time, for 3 or 4 years. 3 or 4 year long campaign is exactly what I'm doing. And then that person that the people were actually able to vet, and the people were actually able to see and be around and to understand, and that person would be much more likely to try to get done what the people want done, and not just like pander to them, and actually just serve the interest of the elitist class. And that's the goal. That's the main driver. The point about it, and the thing about me as a person, and the thing about like me as like a politician, is just who I am as a person, is that I will never give up, I will never give in, and I will never stop fighting to give power back to the American people. This is what I'm passionate about. This is one of my biggest passions. This is what I've always been passionate about this. And this is the fight of our lives. Taking power back, like this is what America has been about since the beginning. It's taken power from the major corporations, giving it to the people, we the people of the United States. And that's what I plan to do. That's what I want to do. And like I said, this is the fight of our lives. And the thing is, I don't know if I can win, okay, because it's never really been done like this, okay? I'm 21 years old. I'll be elected at 25. That is right at the bottom of how old you are, like how the age minimum requirement. I'll be the youngest. I think, fact check me, but I think I will be the youngest Ohioan House of Representatives member ever elected. Like I said, I don't know if I can win, but I'm going to try. And to try is worth it. To try is worth it because of the people. And yeah, I'm going to try. And so, yeah, and this show will be the start of that. Will it be the start of me trying? So thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Drop a like. Make sure you follow. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Share it with your family. Share it with your friends. And remember, Dhume 2030. We're going to take the power back and give it back to the people. Yeah, thank you.